there, and welcome to the Big Apple School podcast, the weekly English show where we speak about everything under the sun. The major goal of the show is to help you improve your English and, of course, learn something new. My name's Kater, I'm your host, and today with me,
Natalie
and
Alyona.
Guys, we here at Big Apple School believe that the sky's the limit. We want to grow and become even better. And for this, we need a little bit of your help. Let us know what you think about our podcast, what you like or dislike, maybe. Subscribe to our pages on Apple, Yandex, Google, SoundCloud, well, any platform where you listen to our podcast, and let us know what you think. Rate and review our podcast, give us stars, leave comments, ask questions, and feel free to send your ideas about next episodes. We would really appreciate that. And now it's time for me to ask some questions. And we have today a new guest, Alyona. Welcome. This is your first time.
Hello, guys.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What you like?
Oh, sure, of course. And my name is Alyona. I'm local.
What you like or dislike maybe doing?
I love reading a lot, in English, in Russian, and I'm fan of science fiction and fantasy books.
We wish I really wish you were here when we had an episode about fantasy
Yeah, we did.
and universes. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
sure, why not?
Do you have a favorite universe?
Star Wars, maybe, or The Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
Harry
officially accepted. Welcome.
Yeah. Part of
the family now.
Even family, yeah.
All right, I'm glad.
All right. How long have you been teaching English?
Well, now I think it's about 7 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. That's quite a lot, actually.
What about you? Wait, Natalie. I
It's
think it's
been
about the
6
same.
years, I think. Just like you, I think. Right?
Yeah, we graduated 7 years ago, you know?
7? Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Wait, come on. 2014? Yeah, it's been 7 years. Oh, my God. Okay.
The realization of this, like the
7? It's like a small...
lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a small person already,
Well, usually when you look back to the graduation times or something like that, it's like, oh my goodness, I graduated, guys, about 15 years ago.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Just better not think, how long it's been since you left school or since you went
Let's
to school.
not think about that, really. Oh my God, really.
I think if Gary was here, he would just laugh at us, this wise smile, of a man. Like, come on.
Why not?
All right. And we are here today to talk about quite a rebellious topic, maybe.
Whoa.
So we are here to talk about tattoos and piercings and in general body modification. Of course, the first question that pops up in my mind is, do you have any tattoos or piercings? So what's your experience?
Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah.
You have your ears
There are
pierced. I
so
can
many-
see that.
I mean, yeah, I have my ears pierced, but it's like the only thing that I have. So, and it's pretty typical. I mean, everybody has it.
According to some researchers, women's ears pierced are not considered to be as piercing.
Exactly. It's
So-
just kind of typical thing.
Typical.
So
Okay.
it's not a
Yes.
piercing, exactly, yeah. So, but I've wanted to, pierce my, eyebrow, to get a tattoo, like, for so long, but I never did. I don't know why, really. Because it's like, it's a huge responsibility, I think. So you do something to your
Piercing?
body. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Or you
piercing
can
maybe
take
not.
it off and just forget about it.
But there still will be, like, a hole, I guess.
Oh, no, you can get rid of that too if
Really?
you have one. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So there are certain procedures that, help you forget about any kind of a...
Yeah.
Okay, after the podcast, I'm gonna just go and pierce everything that I can.
If actually the piercing procedure was correct, there won't be any scars, keloids, or something like that. So
Yeah, so here we have a specialist, I think.
thank you.
And have you ever thought about getting a tattoo?
Of course, so many times, really. But again, huge responsibility. So you change your body somehow, and it's forever. I mean, you can, like, how do you call it? Like, there's laser procedures.
Yeah,
that
you
helps.
can remove it. Yeah.
But there will be scars still, I think.
I'm not sure about scars, to be honest, but I know that it's hell painful
Yeah.
and hell expensive.
I've heard about this.
Like,
too.
that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but if I did something, I think it would be something, like small, I don't know, like really minimalistic.
Cute, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe no. Maybe on the opposite, actually. But definitely minimalistic and like really, I kind of like all this, sleeves. Yeah, when people just tattoo all their bodies. Like, for example, the singer of Bring Me Horizon. Have you seen him? He has like all his body tattooed, like neck, like arms, everything. So, but I think it's beautiful, but I wouldn't like to do it to myself. Probably.
So minimalistic, something tiny and cute / non-cute, but minimalistic for sure.
Probably, yeah.
I think we should, record the podcast on the same topic in about like a year or 2 years.
Yeah, and Natalya's old to change, Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, you're still, thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, again, maybe after this podcast, I will just go and get a tattoo and a piercing and like everything.
I would advise, to put a little bit more thought into it, But I think that everybody who has tattoos will agree that you always get the first one and you say, oh, I'm just going to get one.
Oh,
just
yeah,
one. Just one. I'm not going to get, 2, 3 or whatever. Never works like that.
Why isn't that?
I don't know how it works. I have 5 tattoos now. Yeah.
What are they
tell
like?
us
Tell us. Tell us.
The first one I imagined and created when I was 15 years old, and I had it done when I was 25. So it took me 10 years to, to
process it.
No, kind of, yes.
To get mentally prepared.
Yes, to get mentally prepared and so on. And then I think first I was thinking about my parents' approval and maybe the society and so on. But then I got rebellious and
just
went and had my first tattoo. And then, so I think it took me about 2 years till the second one.
Can you tell them what they are, if I may ask?
Yes, sure. The first one, it's 2 butterflies on my leg, on my thigh, actually. And the second one, it's a really big tattoo of a bird and a sakura and other things on the side of the body. And there are 3 more tattoos, and one of them is actually spoiled if we talk about the good tattooists and masters, so that wasn't good. So
are you going to cover it with another tattoo?
I had it partially removed, yes, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm still thinking on the design. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. How much time, like how long were the sessions?
The biggest tattoo, I think altogether to count about 15 hours.
15 hours?
In 2 sessions, I
No,
assume.
I've got 3.
3 sessions, okay.
Oh, no, actually 4. The 4th one was after, I think, half a year after the
I wish I had that, I wish I had that.
Come on, you also have some.
No, I mean, I wish I had several sessions. I want more brutal.
You just had one.
I mean, I have, as of now, I have 3 tattoos. The first one is Big Ben. It goes from the ankle, from the base of my leg to the knee. And it was one session, 11 and a half hours, one day. I went to the studio at 10 a.m. I left it around 2 a.m. the next day.
Oh my God.
How did you survive?
Seriously?
11 hours.
Well, the first 5 hours were bearable. Like, it was okay. Then the later it got, the more painful it became. And then by the end, I was like, can we just stop and not do, the background? And my tattoo artist was like, you've been here for 9 hours. Can't you, bear 2 more hours? Like, bitch, please. I'm like, okay, I'm strong. I can do that. The next one was, which came first? Yeah, I think the next one was the tattoos on my shoulder blade, which is, I don't know, like 20 centimeters, like 20 by 15. It took us 9 hours to do that. And after that, I swore to myself that I would never in my life get another tattoo on my back. Like, hell, that was painful. Like, really, we had to stop every hour for like a couple of minutes. I was like, can I just have some rest?
I want to breathe.
Yeah, like I wanted to breathe. I wanted to have a break. And well, the third one, you can see it's a turtle with a Discworld, a commemoration of Terry Pratchett's works. And it was like 3.5 hours. So he was like,
I've seen this one actually.
Really?
Is it you?
well, last year. Oh my goodness. Oh, we have a real Harry Potter fan here.
Yes, sure.
Okay, Alyona just showed me something. Tell the listeners what you showed me.
So that's, I think it's the last one that I had, and it was a present from my sister on my 30th birthday, and that's a tattoo from Harry Potter, like Mudblood.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
What does it mean actually?
Mudblood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mudblood.
Mudblood, not mad.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Mudblood.
Yeah,
But who knows, you
I thought
know?
like, yeah, what?
5 tattoos might as well be mad blood.
No, just Mudblood.
I have a question. I have a question to Alyona. How did your parents react when you got tattoos and piercings?
The first tattoo was okay. I got them prepared by piercings actually. So I had my navel piercing, I had my ears pierced, and my nose, and so they by that time I think they were a little prepared to me having a tattoo, first tattoo, and so when I had it done, they all looked at the design, and actually they approved of the design.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that's so
Just
sweet.
beautiful butterflies, yeah. And even my grandma, she was like, "Oh, beautiful." But actually, how would it look when you grow up, or when you become adult, when you become like me in 80s?
And you'll be like, Grandma, let's be fair, you don't look like a daisy right now.
Yes. And actually, that was the only thing that bothered her. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But I mean, everybody thinks about that, like how will I look when I'm like 80 or something. But
the
I mean,
answer to that is awesome.
yeah, I mean,
Sure.
you will still look like an 80 years old lady. Yeah, but still, I mean,
Yeah, but with some tats.
yeah, with some twist. Yeah.
Oh God, I have a story about my parents. That was so fun. I mean, first of all, I got a piercing in like 2014. And I also have a story about that because I got a dermal piercing in the middle of my neck. And at that time I was working at a secondary school. So, and the next day I got it. First of all, my mom was like, is it an act of, a rebellious act against the system? Do you want to show, something with it? I'm like, Mom, chill. It's just beautiful. It's a crystal. It looks like a necklace, just without a chain. So it looks lovely.
Actually, yeah, I saw it. It's really
Yeah,
beautiful,
but she was like, something's wrong. Are you okay? I'm like, oh God, okay. So the next day I was teaching, and I was teaching like 11, 12-year-olds at that time, 14-year-olds, and they're like, what is that? What is that? I'm like, a crystal. They're like, how does it hold to the body? I'm like, glue? Well, I'm a teacher. I should not be saying to kids like, oh yeah, it's piercing. You can get it over there. So, but the thing is that, so a week after they came to me and they said something like, we Googled it. That's not glued. Like you lied to us. I'm like, you shush, please.
Oh.
But the funniest moment was when 2 months later, a 14-year-old, so a 9th grader, came to lesson with the same piercing.
Oh my
And she's
God.
like, it looks so beautiful. I decided to get the same one. I'm like, don't you dare tell your parents where you got the idea. You hear me? Like, do not.
Oh my God.
role model.
Whoa.
I wish they learned English, the same way they got their piercings.
Yeah.
So, and then
Actually, yeah, that's an interesting idea. Why is the society is so, again, you just said, so like act of rebellion. Yeah, but why is it considered like that? Is it like after all these rock stars who actually done it?
But who
Why?
are the rock stars? They are rebels.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
that
why? So I mean, you pierce your body is like, why is it considered an act of rebellion? What is so rebellious about that?
I would say that for many people, yes, but according to some research I read yesterday,
Whoa.
Many people think that it is act of body decoration or something like that.
Yeah,
body art.
I mean, everybody has their own reasons behind that.
Self-expression,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, for teenagers, of course, it's more of a rebellion, because their parents tell them, no, you can't. When you're 18, you'll be able to do whatever you want. So they're like, I don't care. I'm going to do that. Although, let's be fair. Some parents, are totally supportive in terms of that. So they just go together with their kids to a piercing salon.
And I have a story about that.
Oh, please do
So
tell.
One of the last tattoos that I have it with my sister and my brother. So we all have almost the same tattoo.
Oh,
Just
Aw.
yeah,
adorable.
on the same place on our bodies. And when our parents and grandparents saw it, they were like, "Oh my goodness, it's so lovely, it's so adorable."
Aw. Well, that's an unexpected twist, right?
Yes. So we all were in our 30s back then, and it was not the act of rebel, but still. Even our grandma was like, "Oh, it's so connecting and lovely." And after that, my mom and
She
dad,
got enough.
my mom and
That would be
dad
nice.
actually they decided to have their tattoos
No
done.
way.
They haven't performed it yet, but next year I think it's 40 years since their marriage.
40 years. Wow.
So they
That's so
are going
cool.
to have tattoos.
Oh, I love it when, couples have matching tattoos.
Yeah.
We're planning on getting one with my fiance. So we're like, yee. That's so cool.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, lasting, longer than an engagement ring, of course. Yeah. And with my tattoos, oh God, that was funny because the day I had a tattoo session planned, my mom invited me for dinner and I'm like, oh, I can't, I have work, I have a lot of lessons, so I'm sorry. I'm going to come tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. You have a lot of work, fine. So the next morning, I'm like, well, Mom, I have something to tell you. Well, I got a tattoo. And she's like, you what now? Like the real one that's not going to wash away? I'm like, yeah, the real one that's not going to wash away. She's like, but is it like a little tattoo? I'm like, yeah, it's tiny. And just to remind you, it's like half of my leg from the ankle to the knee. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, okay, send me a picture. And I sent her a picture and she was like, oh, dear Lord. I'm like, oh, dear Lord, how beautiful that is. Because I love it. You're like, okay. I love my dad's reaction. Because whenever we talked about tattoos, my mom was like, I hope you're not getting one. And my dad's like, why would you worry? If she gets one, you're going to be the last person to find out about that. I'm like, you got a point here. And the thing is that my mom was just like, oh, why? Like, I mean, it's beautiful, but why? It's permanent, but it's beautiful. She had very mixed feelings about that. But my dad, when he came to see me in person, and like you have to wrap something around the tattoo, so kind of like, to apply some kind of the cream. He saw how I wrapped my leg and he's like, that's just, horrible the way you wrapped it. So every day he would come to me to wrap my leg, nicely so that I can go outside. I'm like, aw, thank you. And then when I got another one, they're like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Like they've already, accepted the fact, as they say, that we have one, we have a normal daughter, that one. Because my sister's like, no piercings, no tattoos. And then there's me, at some point I had 3 dermals and my mom was like, oh, okay.
Wait, are you the youngest or the oldest?
I'm the younger one.
Okay. So I understand that.
And then I had, my hair dyed, purple, blue, and pink. Then I had another piercing, which is tragus.
It's always the better thing. Like younger kids are always more rebellious. I
No.
think. No, not always.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the eldest in the family, and I brought that fashion to our family members. And my brother has a tattoo, just one, but still. And my sister has several tattoos and piercings. So, and my mom even, she has her eyebrows tattooed. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, is it also a tattoo? Can you
Yes.
consider it a tattoo?
Yes, it's a permanent makeup. So that's why it's a tattoo as well.
But I think it's a different category of them.
No.
But I mean, like,
like you mean?
aesthetically,
You mean in terms
yeah.
of like, attitude?
Yeah,
People's attitude to
exactly.
it? It might be.
Yes.
I mean, luckily,
Yes.
we're getting out of the stigma
Yeah,
in Russia.
exactly.
So, the way it used to be treated, all the tattoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my granddad, so he had tattoos and he had them done in the army. And it was like some, because they were doing them like by themselves with a pen or like regular ink,
I try not to even
Yeah,
think
I
about what they
remember
did
my
them
dad
with.
had
Exactly.
them
Yeah.
as well.
And it was like, like a name of his or some, some silly things. And actually he was embarrassed of them, because like he used to cover them all the time because he thought like people are going to think that I was like in prison or something like that. So yeah, but now I think it's changing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, it's definitely changing. Yeah. Since we're talking about attitude to tattoos, I kind of have to ask, have you ever been told anything like, well, a teacher can't have tattoos or piercings or something like that?
Oh, I ignore this stuff. I don't listen to this stuff, like when,
Like, that's why
when
I had
people
my
tell
big
me
headphones.
you can't do this. Yeah, come on, just leave me alone.
I can't say that I've ever heard that because I had my style kind of fully formed by the time I became a teacher. Yeah? So that's
same
why
probably.
my almost all my piercings were already done and several tattoos. So when I became a teacher and when I came to school, actually that was my friend's school first, and
Actually, we worked there together.
yes, sure.
It was my exactly.
Yeah.
So I was just straight from the university. I mean, it was my
Your fifth year, if I'm not mistaken.
oh sorry
Your fifth year of university or
or the first year after.
something
So yeah,
like that.
and we just worked in the same school. So actually, that's where we met. So
Yeah.
and we've known
you
each
met
other
through
since
work,
then.
and Natalie and I met through university.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah,
It's a
We've
small
known-
town, a small world. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you never had a problem then with?
If there could have been problems, I think the pupils and the students who just didn't choose me as a teacher, as their
Fair
teacher.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah,
you know, teaching it's a really personal thing.
Yeah.
So it's about interaction and about even liking each
Yeah,
other.
definitely.
So yeah.
Because when I had my hair dyed, very bright colors and everything, my mom used to tell me, "You're a teacher. How are you going to find a job?" I'm like, "I already have a job."
Oh my god, I
And
know.
then-
This sounds so familiar.
And
really.
then, but I'm like, who cares? Am I less of a professional because of my tats? Because of my piercings? No. And then when I got a grant and I had to go teach to an American university, my mom was like, "And how are they going to look at you?" So I contacted my supervisor and I asked, "Is it okay that I have like bright hair and piercings and tattoos?" And she's like, "Oh, you're going to fit just well." And I did. So, and I love that nobody cares. Really, nobody cares.
Yeah, but I think it's changing now in Russia too.
Luckily, yeah.
Little by little. But yeah, my grandma, she's really conservative. So even when I'm like wearing, jeans or something like that, she's like, a teacher shouldn't wear jeans. A teacher should wear, a dress, a skirt or something like that. And I'm like,
so
oh my God.
sweet. So
Yeah.
sweet and so
Yeah.
old-fashioned.
I know.
Yeah.
Really.
But do you think that tattoos have to have a meaning?
I think yes. So all my tattoos have some meaning for me personal. Yeah. So they may not be, I don't know, conventional meanings or something like that, but something that they mean to me. Yeah. Maybe some event in my life or something like that. Maybe. I don't know, people that I meet, and of course, one of the tattoos, it's kind of a family tattoo, so it means a lot to me. Yeah.
So what about mudblood?
I think it's just a dedication to the universe, to the person actually who had that. That was a scar in Harry Potter's universe, but still. I like the character, Hermione Granger, yeah. So, and she's lovely and wise and friendly, really. And so I think altogether, so brought.
Oh, wow.
Natalie, what would you think?
I think, yeah, but I guess I don't know. I'm kind of in doubt here because, again, it might look really beautiful when a person, again, covers all the body with different tattoos. And, but again, if I had one, so it would probably mean something. I mean, definitely would mean something.
Okay. I have a little bit of a different position. I mean, all my tats, they have some kind of a meaning, so I didn't just get them, out of the blue because, the big band, it's, about my love to London and my trips there and one of the happiest days of my life over there. Terry Pratchett, well, I just adore his works. I've spent, 5 years of my life at least reading and writing my thesis on it. Doctor Who, the same. I'm a Whovian. But at the same time, I don't think that tats have to have a meaning. Like, nowadays, it's more like, a beautiful picture. So
But
if
at
you
least they can symbolize something.
they might, but they
you.
don't have to.
Don't have to, yes, sure. I think the whole system has changed.
Yeah.
Maybe in last 10 years, maybe
Yeah, I
15
think it's been
years.
within the last
Yeah,
decade,
definitely.
maybe, yeah. So yeah, I think that if there's a beautiful picture or something you want to get tattooed on your body, go for it.
Yeah,
Like-
I think I agree actually. Yeah, because if you look at this tattoo every day and you still enjoy it,
Yeah,
so I think
that's what's
that's
important.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Or I think actually there are three reasons to get a tattoo. So first one is to remember something. Yeah. So for example, you get a phrase, or you get, I don't know, an image of something that makes you remember something.
Maybe a date, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, actually, yeah. So the other one is probably aesthetic pleasure. Yeah, just to, again, look at it and enjoy it. And the third one, I forgot actually. Yeah,
I
there was
think there can
something
be
else.
many reasons behind tats.
Yeah,
Like you just
yeah.
like the picture you wanted to have. Like I think it's more connected with the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Matching tattoos,
Yeah.
maybe something as a reminder. Because let's say my ex had a tattoo on their wrists which said "Stay calm."
Oh.
As you know, like a reminder during the anxiety days and the days of depression and everything. So yeah.
Does it really help? I mean, you
I don't know.
look
Well-
at it and
Well, it
it's
helped
annoying
them, so-
probably.
If you
when you're
make it a
depressed.
habit, maybe if you make it a habit to maybe check on your tattoo or when you feel anxious or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've
maybe-
seen a
maybe-
tattoo.
why
It
not?
depends on what you put into it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a tattoo and there is some think.
Yeah.
It's and I think it's beautiful. It's just
I
use
have-
your brain.
I have
you know?
a ring with this phrase.
Yeah,
think.
that's nice, really nice.
yeah.
So
Are you-
actually, that's why I chose the tattoo on my shoulder. Yeah, shoulder.
I think it's
Oh,
forearm.
Forearm.
yeah.
On my forearm for that to remember about being loyal, being friendly, and so on. So
Whoa.
why not?
Yeah. Are you going to get another tattoo?
I'm going to cover the one on my ankle first, and after that, maybe yes, I have an idea about my shoulder being tattooed, and it's gonna match the tattoo on my side and maybe the one on my thigh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That sounds cool. Like a complex
Yes.
picture. I have so many ideas on what I would like to have tattooed and where. Well, there is a problem with the letter because my pain tolerance is not that high. So yeah, and after having TARDIS tattooed on my shoulder blade, I said, "Oh God, no!"
It must be
Oh,
really
really?
painful, yeah, because it's the skin
Yeah,
is really
God,
thin
it
there.
was horrible. Even though I would assume it wouldn't be that horrible because I mean, not that I'm skinny, I have quite a lot of fat over there. So it must be, I thought that it would have, worked as some kind of a
Cushion.
pain, like a pain reliever or something, but no. But yeah, I have so many ideas. But the thing is that I realize I have to do that here in Russia because one, we have fantastic tattoo artists. Two, it's affordable. And that's actually why a lot of people in the US assumed I was rich. They're I was like, oh, you little do you know about how wrong you are right now. So because they're like, oh, where did you get it done? How much was it? And I actually once wondered, and I went to a tattoo salon and asked, how much would something like that be? And they said, well, given the quality and the colors, it would be around $4,000. I'm like,
Whoa.
And I'm like, $130. Eastern
Seriously?
Europe. Go to Eastern
Whoa.
Europe, people.
Really?
Yeah.
It was much more expensive.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like $4,000. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy, really.
It is. It is. I remember once being in having a walk in the center, and there was some guys, and they're like, "Nice tat." I'm like, "Oh, cool, thanks." Like, where did you get it done? We started having a small talk, and they're like, "Well, a friend of ours is, has a tattoo machine. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "No, thank you. This is something I would definitely not like to do."
Oh, yeah.
So actually, since we mentioned different attitudes in countries, why don't we talk about how tattoos appeared? So do you know anything about the history, and when do you think they appeared?
Well, actually, I've Googled that, and like the first evidence of a person who was tattooed, I mean, the one that we know about, so it was about more than 5,000 years ago. So yeah, there was a body discovered on top of the mountain, so it was completely...
It was frozen.
Yeah, it was frozen, so yeah, it didn't rot or something. So and we could actually see that there were some tattoos on this body. So it means it's pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think usually they had religious motives.
Yeah, either religious or they also marked the slaves like that. Actually, if we translate this word tattoo from Tatian, I think, so it means a mark.
Yeah, well, there are different theories on where the word came from itself. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. So the earliest evidence maybe was the mummy found in I think it was Italian-Austrian border, somewhere
Something
there.
like that.
And they named it Etsy.
Yeah.
So in the and it was carbon dated around like 5,200 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy. When people say, "Oh, it's just a modern trend," I'm like, well, it is. Of all things, it is not that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And we've mentioned, what it meant for them. And I think it should be pointed out that different civilizations had different reasons for tattooing.
Sure.
So why don't we take a closer look at some of these?
Hey, let's do it.
Do you mind if I give a little bit of a mini lecture?
Please do.
You're welcome.
You asked for it.
Sure.
Well, I made you, but
Yeah,
that's
kind of made us.
We beg.
You made us ask for it.
So I would like to start with China, because some mummies were found in the cemeteries across Western China. So, and they had tattooed skin, and they date as far back as 2100 BC. So about 1,000 years younger than the Etsy mummy, but still, old enough. And in general, in China, especially in Western China, tattooing was something barbaric. So, and that's why they had tattoos, and they put tattoos on bandits and criminals. So convicted criminals, they were branded with a tattoo on their face. So it's like, used to warn other members of society, like keep out, like keep away. Yeah. Actually, the same thing was done in Russia at some point in history, when there would be words on the face saying a thief.
Whoa.
It was more like in
Really?
I haven't heard
I've
about
never
that.
known.
Yeah, me
It's
neither.
about 18th century, I think. So a little bit later, Peter the Great's time. Yeah.
So I've read the same about Japan. So they also marked thieves like that. And, like in Japan, they have characters. Yeah, different kind of, characters. And so for character, which means thief, so there are 3 lines. Yeah, and
Horizontal.
I'm not sure actually. I've never seen this character, but I've read about it actually.
All right.
So yeah. And for the first offense, they did the first line, then the second one for the second offense, and for the third one, it would be the complete character, like a thief. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
So you could away with it if
A lot of thought.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you do offense once, so you still have a chance not to become a thief. Like, yeah, but
actually the history of tattoos in Japan is something, also fascinating, because I think it went through so many, just like in many other countries, it went through so many stages.
But they are awesome, really. The compositions.
They are. And actually
Adorable.
Japan was the country that kind of inspired people from from America at that time. So because, when it was first, not discovered, but when the borders were opened and the first travelers from America came there, they saw people with fantastic, coverings on the body. So, and that's how people in America started to, get tattoos. But then again, it used to be, also used for marking a criminal. Then it had some kind of, beautiful value. But then also at some point, tattoos were only connected with Yakuza. So, and that's why there's still a little bit of a stigma. And actually, I think it's still the case that if you go to some kind of a sauna or something like that in Japan, you're not allowed to get in if you have a tattoo.
I know in Korea, it's even worse. It's like...
in Korea, so there are Korean saunas in the US, like all over the place. And some of them actually do have a rule, like if you have a tattoo, we don't want you here.
Exactly. I remember I watched like a documentary about a girl and she's like tattooed all over. So she even has some tattoos like in her eyeballs. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It looks really creepy. So, and when she wanted to go to a spa, she was like refused to. So.
I know about spas and different saunas in Japan that in many places you can have it covered. So they give out you some special, I don't know.
But I mean, if there are tattoos on your eyeballs, you can't cover them.
You are not going to see today. Yeah. So, but that's about China and Japan. Now, a lot of mummies with tattooed skin were also found in Egypt. So, and they even date back to at least 2000 BC. And we have to remember that these are just the evidences and the mummies that were found. But who knows if there have been others. And some theories indicate that the tattoos found on the mummies in Egypt were for decorative purposes. So not to, mark a criminal. And some scientists actually have a theory that was also, being used as a medical treatment.
Really?
What?
Yeah. So maybe it's like a part of, letting the blood go or something, but it's just a theory. So right now it's impossible to prove that. And what's interesting, though, is that in ancient Egypt, tattooing appears to have been practiced exclusively on women. There have never been found a male mummy that had tattooed skin. I think only one out of some kind of dynasty that I have no idea how to pronounce. And, but yeah, that's interesting. Like why and how come?
Maybe again, religious reasons, and
might be
they should have, I don't know,
like a woman is a sacred has a sacred
or in the
body.
opposite,
They had they had female leaders, quite a lot of them. So I would think they would be more respectful to women than.
It's funny how like humans all over the world had the same idea of getting ink inside of your skin,
right?
And get pictures out of it.
In absolutely different parts of the body, different civilizations. Do you know that actually one of the, well, not the oldest maybe, but it dates back to 500 BC, but one of the tattooed mummies was found in Siberia. Maybe you have heard about we call her an Ukok princess.
Yes, I know.
It was found in the Altai Mountains in the Ukok Plateau during the 1990s. Like
I went to the museum in Akademgorodok and I saw
my God,
replica
you're so
of,
lucky.
Yes.
I
I had an excursion. I was leading an excursion. I was translating an excursion to the foreigners, and that was a part of it.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and that was adorable, lovely.
For a very long time, for about several years, the original, so the real Ukok princess mummy was in Novosibirsk. Later on, they transported her back to Altai.
As far as I remember, it was for some scientific reasons in here, but after that, they decided to transfer it to...
Wait, so is there... Do you happen to know if there's a replica?
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness, I have to go see.
There is.
Yeah.
If you know where the pond with the ducks is, so there, just on the right side, you can see the museum, and the museum is dedicated to the history of Siberian area, and there are some maybe exhibits from different archaeological sites, and
That is
you
so
can
cool.
I don't know, hire a guide, and they can tell you a lot about different.
For some
Amazing.
reason, for some reason, I thought that it would be stored in institutions. So, behind the closed doors, so nobody, out of public could
I
see
think
that.
it used to be, but now it is in public, and you can see at least the replica of
Hashtag
that
popularizing science.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And well, as I earlier mentioned, so when Natalie told us about the meaning of the word, and you said it was from Tahitian.
Tahitian.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Tahitian.
So there is
Lord.
also a theory that the modern day English word tattoo may have originated from Samoan word for tattoo, which is tatau, which means a marking on the body.
Still a mark.
And
Yeah.
Still- well,
Some
yeah.
kind of a mark.
It's New Zealand, no? Maori, I think.
No, that would be Maori, yeah. Samoa is a little bit different. I think it's in Oceania, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But still, I know that in those places there are really deep traditions of tattooing
Yes,
the
I mean,
bodies.
Maori, they still have their
still-
bodies tattooed, and that's very important. Did you know that actually at some point the native peoples of Chukotka used to have facial tattoos, and it was exclusively women. As of 2018, there were only 4 women left who, kept the tradition. As of now, there is no data about that. But there was an ancient tradition in that part of Russia to have facial tattoos. So, yeah.
So interesting.
Right? I
I've
never...
Like, what for? I mean,
Well, it's interesting. Like, what kind of meaning do they have? Because it definitely, part of the culture, part of some
it
kind
must
of
have had
religion.
some
Yeah.
meaning. Right?
But yeah, I really want to read more
So
about
exciting.
that.
Yeah.
And then in the 20th century, this was the century when tattoos started to develop like crazy. And then if we look at the decades, so let's say 1910s, so the beginning of the 20th century, and the majority of tattoos were found on circus performers or sailors. So like just these two categories. So it's like they were used to tell somebody's, personal story, like profession. And it was common for a sailor to have an anchor tattoo, which I think one of the reasons why it got just popular later.
Or Rising Sun, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
Actually,
yeah.
my granddad had both of them, So he got them in the army, as I said before. So
Yeah.
My granddad used to have his name on his knuckles. Yeah.
the same. He also had that. He had a lot of tattoos, actually.
I think my dad had an anchor tattoo and a bird. But, just the figure of the bird, not like a detailed. Yeah, interesting. He was in the army, not a Marine. He was a Marine soldier, I think.
My
On a
granddad,
submarine.
he wasn't a Marine, but he was just regular army, I think. So I don't know
that's-
how it's connected, really.
Interesting, yeah. So that was in 1910s in the US mostly. Then in the 1920s, cosmetic tattoos became very popular among women. So many would get, those eyebrows or lips. So that's where it all started.
And I've
1920s.
heard that they even tattooed the
Hair.
the hair. Yes, the hair when
God.
they had, I don't know, some troubles.
Oh my goodness. No, I have never heard
Maybe
about that.
facial hair even. Yes, yeah. I saw a few pictures
my
and that was
God.
like, wow, hello.
Oh my God.
Convenient, you never have to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
makeup or,
Like
Yeah.
nowadays, ladies go to the salons and have that.
yeah.
Permanent,
Permanent,
makeup.
yeah,
Permanent
Yeah, permanent
cosmetics, yeah.
makeup, yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, I've
So-
never liked it, really. It looks so artificial. It doesn't look natural.
Oh, I think it depends on, what kind of a tattoo
Yeah,
artist you
definitely.
have.
But
Like if
again-
it's done professionally.
I think about 10 years ago, it all looked
Awful.
like.
Oh
Do
my
you
God.
remember? It was like extremely thin lines.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
girls used to shave their eyebrows,
Exactly,
and that was
exactly.
oh my goodness! Please no, don't.
Yeah, I mean,
look at
there
me.
are
I don't-
eyebrows, but there aren't.
I hope,
like a picture of the
this is
eyebrows.
one of the fashion trends. I hope we'll never see the light of the day again, ever. please be gone and be forgotten. Really. So, and then it's interesting that even though, some women started to get, the cosmetic tattoos still throughout the 1920s, the 1930s, it was still thought as socially non-acceptable, for outcasts, for circus performers, sailors, and sometimes even criminals at that moment too. So, and that's why a lot of women would keep, their cosmetic tattoos a secret. Although, come on, 1920s, come on,
Yeah.
come on. How would you keep it a secret? How?
Wear a veil or something. I don't know.
And then in 1940s, Norman Keith Collins, who was one of the tattoo artists, he gave birth to the iconic Sailor Jerry style of tattoo. So, now it's called old school style of tattoo, the sailor, it's something like comic. So he added colors to tattoos.
Oh, wow.
And he created his own pigments and he was adding them to his tattoo designs. So, and they, in general, this decade, it features, bold motifs, plenty of colors. I think if you see old school, red, blue, something like that. So it comes from the 1940s.
Skulls and roses, yeah.
I think, Skulls and Roses, I think it was more after, it was started
But
because
it
of
is
him.
still considered to be old school.
Yeah,
I think it
Basic.
appeared itself in 1960s, 70s,
60s,
but
yes.
because of that, yeah. So, and that's and then in the 1940s as well, there was a boom among patriotic tattoos in the US because of the World War II. So, and they're military motives, things like that. Then in the 1960s, 70s, the popularity just dropped because of the Vietnam War. So it was not that cool to have a, military tattoo anymore. So due to historical reasons.
Then came rock. Yeah.
But then came rock. So, and that's how, all this acceptance started. And now we have what we have. So thank you, rock stars.
Yeah. Thank you for this.
For being bold enough to
history.
get that. Yeah. Yeah. So, but what about Russia? So what can we say about attitude to tattoos in Russia and the history of it?
I think it's slowly changing again, like we've said before. So, but I think it's about big cities probably. If you go to a village, if you go to a small city, probably it will still be considered like, what do you have in your skin? What's that?
Why?
Probably.
Are you from the prison? Have you been released?
Yeah.
I remember maybe in 2012, my sister and I, we went to Kazan. And I had really bright orange hair, even mohawk, yeah. And yes,
I remember this.
Yes.
Actually.
I want to see that.
There were really many piercings and a few tattoos, and there people wouldn't understand me really if I think I lived there or something, because while we stayed there for I think 5 days or so, we looked like outcast, I think. Really.
I think it's changing now, though.
Definitely.
Yes, sure. I think here in Novosibirsk it was more okay, more people were more used to that, but there I think, but even if they're closer to European part and so on,
They have a different religion,
Yes.
predominantly Muslim.
yeah,
So,
of course. So because of that, people are not used to such I don't know expressions.
yeah, I love Novosibirsk in terms of, having a lot of amazing tattoo artists, and the annual tattoo convention, which, thank you, COVID, was canceled last year, but hopefully will take place this year at the end of August.
Have you been there?
I wish, because last year it was
have.
canceled.
I was a model in.
Aww.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Just when I had my big tattoo done, the tattooist asked me to become a model of him, of his, on that fest. And I think, so because of that, he had it renewed a little, and we went to the convent, I don't think that we won something, but still, it was really exciting.
Oh, that's so cool. I wanted to go there for like several years in a row, but it's at the end of August. So in 2 years in a row, I had already left the US by the time, and then I thought maybe in 2020, but we all knew that it would not take place in 2020.
Great.
So this year, I don't know. I do not know what the future holds. So let's see. But what if I ask you how or when do you think the first was the first mentioning of tattooed people in Russia, apart from the Ukok princess, which was, Asian part? It was more on the border with Mongolia.
Again, probably they marked slaves. I mean, not slaves, but some kind of outcasts, probably like criminals or something like that. Like we've said before, we spoke about that.
Yeah. So it's interesting that there's only one mentioning about Russian pagans, so in the pagan time, having marks on their bodies. And it was in the Journal of the Volga Bulgars, which was written in 920. So the 10th century, by Ahmad ibn Fadlan, an Arab Muslim traveler. So he was traveling all around the world trying to, convert people into Islam. Yeah. And he wrote about Volga Bulgars. Each is tattooed from the tips of his toes to his neck with dark blue or dark green designs, and all men are armed with an axe, sword, and long knife.
Really? Oh,
But this is the only mentioning. So
Maybe he got mistaken. Maybe he just
but we do not know. That's the thing. So there are not many.
just one mention.
So there's one mentioning about tattoos. Nothing else has ever been found in regarding any kind of mark on the body. So technically, there may be a reason why there were never mentionings of it later, because 1920 is not long before
of course.
Russia, Rus at the time adopted Christianity. And, Gary would agree that if I mentioned the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 28, which said, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am your Lord." So Christianity was totally against any kind of markings on the body. So maybe that's why we do not have any kind of information about that later. But
Interesting.
yeah, and then Peter the Great, he brought a lot of things from Europe to Mother Russia. So, and he actually started mandatory marking of the soldiers.
Yeah, of course.
Which included a cross on their left wrist. But
I read about that.
since and also a personal number of the soldier. But since there were no pigments or tattoo machines or anything like that at the time, they would cut the cross and then rub gunpowder into it, which could have some complications later. And it may sound barbaric, but the identification of dead soldiers at the time was 100%. Because, how not to identify a soldier when there is a number tattooed on the wrist?
Actually a scar and a tattoo.
It's more like a tattooed scar because they still rubbed.
Yeah,
so
so there is
gunpowder
still
for
some
the color.
pigment inside of it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a scar.
Actually, there is a rumor, but I don't think it has been proven right or wrong, that even Peter the Great himself had a little tattoo of an axe.
What for? I mean,
What do we have tattoos for? Who knows? He might have had his reasons. But in general, if we think about Russian Tsars, Nicholas II, so the last emperor of Russia, had quite a big dragon tattooed on his forearm after his cousin, British prince, I forgot his name, Prince George, maybe. So so did you know that Nicholas II was related to the royal family?
Oh, they were cousins.
yeah.
So his cousin went to Japan, got inspired, got a dragon on his forearm tattooed. Nicholas II was like, "Oh, that looks great." So apparently he went to Japan too and also had quite a big tattoo on his forearm. Actually, it's still Googleable. So because there have been pictures from the time that are in some archives. So yeah, and and after that, Russia started to brand its criminals and deserters from the war, with ink. And later, criminals started to be, branded or marked with acronyms on their foreheads, cheeks, or forearms. And one of the common acronyms, one of the common words was thief, вор, or 3 letters KAT, which stood for katernik. So a word for criminals serving, hard labor in Siberia. So that if there was a person with this tattoo somewhere not in Siberia, not in, the area with the labor camps, they would be put into justice, apparently. And only then, it was by 1863, it was forbidden by law. So this marking tattooing was forbidden by law. But the thieves embraced tattooing because it gave them a way, to identify themselves, take pride in their actions, communicate their life stories through that. And then we had what we had, which was Russian prison culture tattoos, or prison tattoos culture.
Have you seen I think autumn fashion designers started producing, tights and different turtlenecks with the pictures of Russian tattoos from 1960s, 1970s, and so on. I have no, those stars on the knees and so on. I have no idea why, but that became fashionable in Europe or something.
Fashion never ceases to amaze me, why would you do that? Because, it has its history, and I'm really happy that it's gone now. I mean, of course, I think they still have some kind of, tattoo culture in prisons or something. Maybe, but, it's more or less gone by now. But why would they do something like that and return that?
I have no idea. When I saw it first, I was really shocked. And when the people started wearing that, the tights, the girls were wearing tights with the stars on the knees. Hello? Really?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And when I was telling about Peter the Great and, the cutting the cross and rubbing gunpowder, you've said that it is more like scarification.
Yeah.
So, and this is yet one more type of body modification. And
I've never heard about this, really.
You haven't?
Really?
No.
Oh.
So
Maybe I have, but maybe I just try to forget.
So I think the name speaks for itself. So scarification, when you have the scars. And I think it first started in African countries because, because they have dark skin, the pigment is not really seen that much. So they would get the scars and rub some pigments into it. So then you kind of have, some kind of a 3D maybe design. Yeah. Yeah,
Doesn't sound good.
It sounds painful. It does, but it's popular still to this day. Of course, people do not use, knives or something like that, but the equipment is more like, like surgical equipment or something like that, or lasers. So, and what other types of body modification can you think of? So we've mentioned scarification. Do you know anything else?
I remember in the beginning of 2000s, there was this fashion for, I don't know how to call them, tunnels?
Tunnels?
Oh my God.
Ear tunnels?
That was
Earplugs or...
Earplugs.
Yeah.
So the plug is what
gauged ears, yeah. A gauge, yeah.
Might be. I'm not, since there's something that I don't have, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I do.
You have them?
I used to have two, both my ears plugged, or one of the tunnels was 5 millimeters. The second one
a small one.
was the 10 millimeters. So the one of them got healed. Yeah. And
got healed on itself?
Yeah, it was tiny. It was not big. And the second one I'm still wearing. What do we call that thing?
I think they're called plugs.
A plug.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a helix. Yeah. So it's nice, and it's not a 10 millimeter or tunnel or gauge. It's just, I think, 8 or 7 now.
Yeah, it always scared me when they have, really huge tunnels, 2-3 centimeters.
My mom was always shocked to see people like that, and she's like, but it's for the life. I'm like, oh no. She's like, what do you mean no? I'm like, you can cut it and sew it back together. She's like, I think she wishes she hadn't heard that at the moment. But yeah.
I saw a few operations, like people
Yeah.
cut their earlobes and just sew it together, and it looks nicely again.
Yeah.
No,
But I mean, look, it's an earlobe. It's like, all soft tissue. So
I know, but
it doesn't
still.
sound that painful.
When you have like this tunnel, like the size of your, I don't know, of your ear, actually. Yeah. So, and it's like, ugh.
Well, it's still like, if a person gets tired of it, they can still get back to normal.
yeah.
This, which
It's good, it's reversible,
Yeah, I mean, because unlike scarification and scars, you can't get rid of scars anymore. You can't even cover them much, You can combine them with
just
tattoo.
a little. I think if you open the wound and sew it together and so on. I have no idea how it's done. But
Neither do I.
It's a surgery.
Well, yes,
procedure.
it's not anymore, a quick and fast thing,
Sure.
when you get your ear pierced within like a minute or two. No.
Have you seen the piercings? I don't know where. What do we call like windows in the cheeks? Yeah, when they. I have no idea why people do that.
Have you seen how they, make a fountain?
No.
There are videos when they drink water and they're like,
Oh my God.
out of the cheeks.
That's so
I wonder how
stupid,
they
I mean.
eat.
I don't think that actually. Well, I mean, it's not huge holes. It's like a piercing. So, but I am 100% sure that you have to try it first without getting it pierced. I mean, somehow, because, it doesn't suit everybody because of the face shape and everything. But I have seen people who look amazing with cheek piercings. Like really great. Really great.
But I meant the plugs, yeah?
Oh, the
Really
plugs.
huge.
Like the
Yeah.
huge plugs. Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The plugs, the tunnels with the openings. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh
No,
my
I've
God.
never seen that. I've never seen that.
I saw just in pictures, so safeguards not in
Why
real.
would people do that to themselves? I mean,
I mean,
it makes your life
Body art.
more complicated.
it's body art. People want to express themselves.
Exactly. They want to like outstand somehow. Yeah, but
Maybe shock people. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not? Everybody has their own reasons, and as long as people like that, why not?
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
I mean, there's
as long
also
as
Just don't
legal.
understand.
as long as it's legal, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one type of body modification, which is implants.
Yeah.
When you put something under your skin, and you can have that
like
little
horns. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So what else can we think of? This ear shaping, when you might
like
have
elves.
like
Yeah.
elves, teeth sharpening. There was a practice in ancient China, or maybe even still used when they bound the food, so food binding to make them, smaller, so that a girl would have like really little feet, because apparently it's considered to be,
In Japan
ugly.
too, I think. Yeah.
Really? I only thought it was like
I don't know.
common in China.
I know about China.
Yeah, maybe I'm
I
mistaken.
saw some
actually.
pictures, they had really little feet, but not like developed feet, but more like crumpled.
They just put
the
the
toes,
toes
Yeah.
down.
folded,
somehow.
under.
Yeah. Then
It's like doctrine, I think.
well, look,
Kind of.
part of the culture.
Yeah.
Then if we think about what is it, like the beginning of the 20th? No, I think it was the 19th century when women were wearing, tight lace and corsets. So to make their waist thinner.
Yeah.
Some people even got, their ribs removed, like Dita Von Teese.
Oh,
she had a
yeah.
rib,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
two
yeah.
ribs removed to have, this tiny waist.
Actually, I've read about corsets, and they say it wasn't really harmful. It was even good for, the posture and...
I think that
It
depends on what
depends
kind.
on.
Yeah, it depends on the
Because
kind
sometimes,
of course.
it would
if you
put
like...
too much pressure on the ribs. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. on
There is also tongue
do it.
splitting.
Oh yeah,
When you
I saw.
split.
I
Oh, yeah, I
saw
saw-
a
of
few
course I've seen it,
representatives with the tongue splits, and when they could, I don't know, move the
my
the
God.
halves of the
How do
tongue
you speak,
separately.
really?
That looked really.
How do they
fantastic.
speak? How do they make sounds? I mean...
Just like with your normal tongue. I don't know.
But-
For some time, I was kind of considering it, but I'm such a huge coward. So I'm like, God, no, maybe no. Like I'm kind of afraid of.
But I'm sure there must be some kind of, difficulties when you speak, because even if you make some sounds like the or, so it must be hard.
But you can still,
Can you?
stick the halves. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I mean, you can move them, but
You can move them separately, but
Oh my God.
and together, yeah. I don't know. I think it
Goosebumps,
sounds.
you know?
I think it looks kind of, unusual. So unusual.
Maybe too unusual.
Thank God my mom can't understand English. I think if she could, she would have found out so many things that she doesn't know. Sorry, Mom. Yeah. So would you get any kind of body modification like that ever? Would you consider it?
No tongue splitting, definitely.
no, I think no.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither, probably.
Neither
It's
would
too
I.
extreme.
So I still more I prefer
Traditional ones.
usual
Yeah.
piercings and tattoos. Yeah.
Likewise. I don't think I'll ever get anything
yeah.
more than that. Yeah. I mean, other tattoos, pff, of course, definitely. But yeah, nothing too extreme. And I have my last question actually. So at what age, because we've mentioned, teenagers, and at what age do you think it's okay to get a tattoo? And since we all have, well, Alyona has a lot of things pierced, but we all have earlobes pierced. At what age did you get yours pierced?
I think I was about 13 or 14. And it was actually like most of my friends had already had their,
And you were standing out by not having that.
Exactly. And everybody was, whoa, you don't have it?
Did you go like with your mom somewhere?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And it was like in a mall, I think.
Yeah.
And, yeah. We just,
I think at some point it was really popular, to get something pierced in the mall with a pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I hope will cease to exist at one day.
Really?
Oh, they're horrible. Because the thing is that they do not provide the full disinfection. So, and in general, they're more traumatic to the ear. So it's always better to use a needle and a professional.
But I
To
guess
whoever is listening, and a professional.
definitely not by yourself and in the bathroom,
Although,
with
let's
your
be
friends.
fair, when I was a teen, a lot of my friends did that. A needle, cotton pads.
Yeah, actually, my aunt did that too. Like when I first heard about that, I was like shocked.
How come
really?
that we're alive right now, given all the stupid things that we did at teens? Yeah. I don't know. What about you? So when did you get your ears pierced?
I think I was about 8 years old.
8 years old. Yeah.
And
So that's
again,
what I
that
meant, yeah?
pistol. But now I know that it makes keloids and it just breaks your skin, and it doesn't make a good channel for the earring. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I have. How do you call them?
keloids.
Keloids. I have this after my dermal. So I had one installed in the same place twice. And now it's like a scar,
Yeah,
which is quite big, but yeah.
So you had removed?
Well, I talked to some piercers. They say technically you can. It will be like, a little surgery. So, yeah. I love it how, so you got your ears pierced at 13, you at the age of 8. I love it how my parents just took me to get my ears pierced at the age of 3. Like, okay. And the thing is that they did it, on baby ears like mine. So, but I grew. So, and now my, the hole is kind of up there in the middle of the ear, which means I can't wear, those tiny earrings that close behind the ear. So I have to have like more or less bigger earrings so that, I have enough space.
Whoa.
So that's why, my the earrings from my childhood, I had to, give them away or something because I physically couldn't wear them.
So that's why a professional piercer.
A professional
definitely.
piercer, yeah. Whoever is listening, please, you know how they do it, like, don't repeat that at home. Supervise or something like that, yeah. Yeah. So, and can we be too old for body modifications?
I don't think so.
No.
No. Well,
No.
we unanimously agree that no.
I mean, it might be hard to get tattoos, if the skin is really wrinkled, probably, but I don't know, really. It's like a hypothesis, probably.
So if you, dear listeners, are thinking about something, but you think you're too old for this, don't be.
Yeah.
Don't be. Nothing stops you. Nothing does. All right. So, and what do you think would be the main takeaway from this episode for you? What are you going to remember this episode by after we're done?
But right after the episode, Natasha's going to have
Definitely.
piercing or
The
tattoos
piercing or
done.
tattoo, yeah. Probably, yeah. Yeah, I'm really, I have high motivation for that now. Motivation, yeah, that's a nice word for that.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's adorable to be motivated.
Yeah, I think I will remember the history because it was really nice, information, a lot of information, really. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Oh,
actually.
always welcome. Yeah, I think the history is what I'm going to take away from this episode too. It was something I had not known much about. I mean, I had some kind of, pieces of information, very random about, the Princess of Ukok, something like that, but not the whole picture.
Yeah, now we kind of do. Again, thanks to you.
Always welcome. Well, and I have a question to our listeners. Do you guys have tattoos, piercings? What's your attitude to that? So leave a comment, especially in VK, and we're always happy to chat with you over there. Especially in such a topic. I have a lot to say. So, all right. Well, that was the Big Apple School podcast. And today we discussed tattoos, piercings, and body modifications. Thank you for listening. And remember, if you struggle to understand our conversation, you are always welcome to our website, which is bigappleschool.com/podcast, where you can find full scripts of each episode. You can read it while listening. Cool, right? Also, if you want to get more content which will help you learn English, you can follow us on the social media such as Instagram, VK, YouTube, Telegram, and so on. Just, again, search our name, Big Apple School, and, well, have fun. That was Katya, and my guests for today were
Natalie
and
Alyona.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you around.